We are going to deal one of the best poem of SUBRAMANIA Bharati, who was the great patriot in the pre-independence era. It means that before the independence, this poet had written so many poems that could be in the Tamil language. And this poem, which is literally called as Wind, also written by him. His laureate is in between 1882 to 1921, and his poetry is translated into English by A.K. Ramanujan. As well as our knowledge is concerned that A.K. Ramanujan is a Kannada writer and English poet, well known for his translations of classical and modern poetry. Let's have a look on this poetry of class ninth, which is termed as Wind. The wind blows strongly and causes a lot of destruction. How can we make friends with it? Wind comes softly, don't break the shutters of the windows, don't scatter the papers, don't throw down the books on the shelf. In these lines, the poet is requesting the wind not to break the shutters of the window and not to scatter the papers and don't throw that books that was put on the shelf. In these lines, don't is repeated twice, then it's an example of anaphora, and the wind is considered here as a friend, just like a human being, and this is kind of personification. In the next line, it is stated that there, look what you did. You threw them all down. You tore the pages of the books. You brought rain again. In these lines, the poet is self suggesting that wind is considered as a human being and it is using you instead of it. That's why it's a kind of personification that sometimes lifeless things are treated as they are human beings. That's why it's a kind of personification right now. And in these lines, it is stated that the wind has blown away and it has scattered everything. It has tore the pages of the books and rain. You are very clever at poking fun at weaklings. Frail crumbling houses, crumbling doors, crumbling rafters, crumbling wood, crumbling bodies, crumbling lives, crumbling hearts. The wind god winnows and crushes them all. In these lines, the poet is self suggesting about the weak persons and the weakest things that are in the forms of of old houses, doors, rafters. Rafter is here just like rafter is here suggested as the old pillars of the houses. Okay, and crumbling is here repeated line after line. That's why it's a type of repetition. Okay, because it is crushing everything, the old houses, the old doors, the old rafters, the wood, bodies, and lives, and it is crumbling the hearts also. Here, crumbling is symbolized as crushing of everything, and the god Venus here, he, and Venus here, the separation of grains from husk is known as winnowing. That's why he is partially comparing between the thoughts of the negative persons and the poetic persons means that the bold one and the weak one. He won't do what you tell him. He won't do what you tell him. So come, let's build strong homes. Let's join the door firmly. Practice to form the body. Make the heart steadfast. Here in these lines, the poet is hailing everyone who have their stored characters in his life, that who are much boldest persons than the weakest one. And he is telling the whole world that let's be united at every cost. Do this and the wind will be friend with us. The wind blows out weak fires. He makes strong fires roar and flourish. His friendship is good. We praise him every day. In these lines, the poet is self suggesting that the weak fire cannot stand for strongly and could be off at any time. But the strong fires, when the wind blows, the fire used to flourish with his own sounds and it makes his own goal. In this way, he is also hailing about the human behavior and his mentalities. And this is also a type of comparison between the two dissimilar things. It means the wind and the fire. And the wind and the fire are the two things which occur only due to a great occasions. And in the last two lines, he is saying that his friendship is good. We praise him every day. But about the wind, when it comes in a positive way, then everything becomes positive, and when it becomes in negative way, it crushes everything. But if you will be stored in your own character, then you can never change about every wind or the every circumstances that will come in your own future society and for own future generations. You must have to be stored in your own characters, and this is only due to your mentality, because in the mentality, if you were good, then you can win everything of the world. Thank you so much for being with me. Thank you so much a lot. Please like, subscribe in my channel.